What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to use tabletop epoxy. This is Superclear. All right. And I'm going to take this bowl that's already finished. Both of these I'm going to do, but I got to do one at a time, and it takes a little bit of time in between. But I'm going to put 2 coats, 3 coats total, but 2 skim coats. So what you do is you put your first coat on and you just rub it into the wood on a real thin coat. And the idea is you're sealing up the wood so that the air bubbles the air doesn't come up into the finish itself. After the first one's dry for 2.5 hours, turn around and do another thin coat. And then after 2.5 hours, then I do a flood coat. What I've got here, again, is an Ambrosia maple bowl. And I'm going to put epoxy on this. I like the way tung oil leaves the color on the bowl. So I have no idea what this is going to do when I put this on here, if it's going to darken up or if it's going to make the grain pop, or we're about to find this out. I don't know if you're curious, but I certainly am. I have no idea what this is going to do to coloring the bowls. The manufacturer's website said to get it on there and then actually just rub it in with your gloves. So that's what we're going to do. It hasn't changed the color that much, just a little bit, but it's going to be a very blonde bowl. I like darker. I have a very slow speed on here. Actually, I can get it down to 40 RPMs. So that's what I'm going to do, is going to get this right down to 40 RPMs. This is a live edge Ambrosia maple bowl. And I'm going to put epoxy on this one also. This is the twin, not identical twin. One is from one side, one is from the other side of the piece of wood. We'll talk about that later. And then I'm going to use my gloved hands to spread it and push it into the wood a little bit. I started with the other side because it was not a live edge. I figured, if I screw it up, at least I haven't wasted my live edge. But it turned out quite nice. All right, now I'm going to get my live edge coated here pretty darn good. First bowl I did, a lot of air bubbles showed up in the first half hour. Every 5 minutes I'd come out and I'd knock the air bubbles back down again. Turn it on at 40 revolutions per minute, and I'm going to use my hand. I'm just going to take it and push it in to the wood. Now all I'm going to do is just skim the outside edge to level it off. I'm going to let that run. I'll check my air bubbles. Probably mixed twice as much as I needed. So the next layer, I only use half as much. There's the color of it before it was put on, and that's the color after. Before and after. We'll see how this works. Now this needs to go for 2.5 hours, and then I put a second coat on it. You can see the air bubbles in the bowl. A bunch of them showing up in here on the end grain. I'm going to knock these down. I've done this 3 times now. I'm going to keep doing it until it finally sets and maybe holds it better. The inside seems to be doing better, but it's got air bubbles in there too. So just have to keep an eye on it. I mean, there's no question the torch is down, but they come right back. So we'll keep watching it. All right, it's been 2.5 hours, and I'm going to put a second thin coat on this one. It's a very tacky bowl. You can see where it just soaked right into the end grain, which is where it was giving me most of the air bubbles. Get it on here, then I am going to turn it back on and do one of these. It just actually acts like a squeegee. You feel it pulling a little bit. Very nice. And just see how the air bubbles hold up on it this time. That coat went on a whole lot easier than the first coat. This is my third and final coat. She's looking quite nice, actually. But we're going to put the third coat on here. I'm not even seeing air bubbles like I did the first time. Let's just see what she looks like. Oh, I'm starting to get that deep, glassy look. No air bubbles. That looks really, really nice. These two bowls are done in epoxy. Superclear is the name of the company, and what it is top coat. There's a deep pour, which I use for my other ones, but this is a top coat. And what it is, I put 3 coats on these bowls, 2 thin coats just to seal the bowls up, and then a flood coat after that. This is a live edge. This is from the outside of the bowl facing this way, so your wood would be this way. And this one is like this, from the same piece of wood. What it is my pith is running right down through here. All right, so the center of the log was right there, and then I took one from one side and one from the other side. Exact same chunk of wood, but totally different results. Quite neat. I love the fingers, I love the way it turned out, and I love the way the epoxy turned out. The thumbnail down below here, just click on that and it'll show you where these came from and what the story is behind these two bowls. Thank you, enjoy.